Hello friends and welcome. Today we're going to start a new series idea. Let me know what you think. I'm going to show you a game, pitch the scenario a little bit, and then I want you to come up with a game plan of the next 5 or 10 minutes. In this case, it'll be an early game plan. This tower is about to fall, so what do you think the Radiant should do going forward to really take control of this game and win from here? We will try to focus on the support perspective because this is a support channel, but to do this, you sort of need to know what your cores are going to do. And now I know you're already thinking, that's what the cores are supposed to do, but they don't do that in practice. We're going to cover both. So what I think should ideally happen, and then when they don't do that, I'll try to give you guys some ideas. So that tower just fell. The Radiant has a 3K advantage. Here are the items. Pause. Think about it. What do you think the next 5 or 10 minutes should look like? And there's no real right answer, but I'll tell you what I think looks good from my perspective. Now, for those of you who are done thinking that or just want to hear the answer, here's what I think should happen. If you said, let's take the mid tower next, you would be sort of right, but not so straightforward. In this game, it's going to be really hard to take the mid tower. You may have noticed, in fact, let's switch to the full perspective. The Lina and the Jakiro have really good wave clear. On the Radiant side, they don't really have an initiator. Well, let's not worry about the drafts and itemizations, things like that, but they don't have one. So what they're going to have to do is just walk up to this tower and try to take it. But with so much wave clear, it's going to be very difficult. To threaten the Lina and the Jakiro, oh, you can't wave clear, you're going to have to run at them under this tower. Some games you can do that, but against a Nyx Assassin and an Earthshaker offlane who's going for that Blink Dagger, you don't really want to do this because you're just asking to be dove. Or you're diving, so you're asking to be punished for that dive. That's going to not really get you anywhere because all the creeps are going to be dead anyways from all their spells. So coming for the mid tower generally is a good idea, but you can't always force it. And this is one of those games where it would be rather difficult for your team to force the mid tower. So what should you do instead from the Radiant perspective? Well, after having taken this tower, you have the first tower in the game. So all your towers are still up, and the enemy has the mid and the offlane. What that means is if we step back and think at the very start of the game, the map is sort of divided by this river. And the enemy has their half and we have our half. So it's a 50-50 split on resources. Everyone's got the lane, and then we have our jungle, they have their jungle. Once you take this tower and you start being able to invade their jungle, steal their farm, the resource split changes from 50-50 where no one's gaining advantage to, let's see, one tower, let's say 55-45. But that actually means you're getting 10% more resources if you just farm up and don't let them farm up. Now in this game, they end up going for the mid tower. They end up sitting here for 10 minutes trying to take this tower. They throw several fights, and they never grow their lead. Alternate plan. We sit up here. Let's worry about who's going to do that later. We control this area. We slowly push in towers, but in general, we're just going to prevent the enemy from really pushing up. We'll try to defend our towers as well, all of that. But as long as we do that, we're getting 55% of resources, they're getting 45%. And so we'll build this 3K lead into 5K, 6K after 5 minutes or something like that. And with that advantage, maybe we go for some blinks, some pipes, things like that. It depends on the game. But those items would then make it possible to take this mid tower, or at least make it a little easier. Rather than try to do it now where we have a lead, but this lead, this 3K at 12 minutes, is not enough to overcome the amount of wave clear they have and the punish potential if we push this tower too hard. So I think the Radiant should try to control this area. And that would be my answer as what the next 5 to 10 minutes should look like. Now, let's talk about where the hero should go to actually fulfill that game plan. Let's start with the carry. He's our first consideration because we need him to farm. He needs to get a lot of gold. Not all carries can stay in this bottom lane. That's why after this top tower falls, many carries like to come up here because they can shove the lane out. They like farming the lane, and then they farm the jungle. And when they get scared, they fall back to the triangle. They can't stay down here because for the same reason that we were able to take this tower first, the enemy will try to often take this tower first. And it's scary for carries to stay down here. But for Juggernaut, who has Spin and Omni Slash, it's not so scary. So it is viable for Juggernaut to stay down here alone and protect this lane, contributing to his team by doing so, but also try to farm these camps. Now, it's not perfect for him. He would farm more efficiently in the top lane, but if it's worth it for his team to apply pressure, then it would be okay. But in my opinion, Jug would benefit to be top rather than bottom. In the game, either side, like, good enough. It's a pub game. Let's not worry about that, you know? So, whether Jug's top or bottom, we're happy with that. But we need to think about how Jug can die. And the main way he can die is if this Nyx assassin uses ult and sneaks up onto the Juggernaut. And Juggernaut doesn't see it coming, so he gets stunned out of invis and then chain stunned by a lot of these guys who all have stuns and silences. That would be the only way Juggernaut dies. Ooh, here. Well, let's watch this fight, guys. This is pretty much what happens for 10 minutes. Like, okay, we got a kill, let's try to push up. But look, the wave's like already starting to be killed off by this Lina and Jakiro. Oh, just kidding, here's an Echo Slam, blah, blah, blah. The wave actually wasn't dead in this case, my bad. But now look how quickly the wave died. So like, even though the heroes died, it looks a little silly, like what I'm saying. The tower didn't take any damage. The tower's perfectly fine. And they have to back off for a little bit and wait for the next creep wave. And by the time the next creep wave's here, guess what? We've got our abilities again. And so this is just what's gonna happen in the bottom lane a bunch. Let's go back to Jug, or sorry, the mid lane. Let's go back to Jug. He's happy farming, but he's scared of the Nyx. So from the support's perspective, you must come down here and place a sentry, or give a sentry to Jug and have him place it. We see the Nyx coming in now. If Nyx, or if the Radiant had a sentry in this area and an observer, or, well, or, I would say you put one here, and then you give another sentry, like in this area, for example. Jug would see this Nyx coming in, and Jug would spin and just TP out. But instead, Jug is going to die. This is pretty much the only way Juggernaut could have died. And as a support, you can prevent this. So whether Juggernaut's going to stay in the bottom lane or the top lane, you need to put the sentries down to make sure Jug doesn't get killed. And that would secure our Jug farm, and we're happy with that. In this game, let's say Jug stays bottom. Let's go think about the mid and the top. So I said we should camp. We need to take control of this part of the jungle. Does that require 3 heroes or 1 hero? It would depend on what the enemy is doing. So the supports kind of have 2 viable options here, which is to either pressure mid with either Necrophos or Abaddon, but not really try to take the tower. You're just here to pretend to take the tower because that forces the enemy to bring like 2 or 3 heroes. Now, if they have 2 or 3 heroes here, it means only 1 hero is bottom and only 1 hero is top. 1 hero bottom against Juggernaut is a pretty good situation because Juggernaut has Omni Slash and Spin, and that's a lot of kill threat on solo heroes. So Jug's very happy when he's left in a 1v1 down here. Up top, with an Abaddon or a Necrophos up here, if it's Abaddon versus like Lina versus Drow, or the Necro versus those guys, in a one-on-one, your heroes will at least be okay. They won't die because of who they are. They're pretty tanky. They are maybe not going to get a solo kill, but they won't die. So if they're up here by themselves versus another hero by themselves, you're also happy with that. So that's why the supports can be here like this. However, if the supports want to play up here and leave like 1 hero here, possibly a support, to defend mid and like push it, that would also be okay. And you keep 3 heroes up here, and you like 1 core is like farming the lane and a camp, the other core is like farming multiple camps, and we kill anyone who walks in here. This is also okay because oftentimes 1 support can under tower can kind of defend against 2 supports. So in this way, we like start to pull ahead. Now, which support should do which? Between Lich and Crystal Maiden, if someone were to go with a team and someone were to defend these towers, who should be doing that? Crystal Maiden should be the one defending. I say that because of Crystal Nova has been leveled up. This is the good wave clear ability, but she also contributes to her team with Arcane Aura even while she's not there. But there's more to it than that. In a team fight, her ultimate is almost useless at the start of the game. Nyx Carapace is the biggest counter, but literally every single hero on the enemy team can counter her ultimate. That means her impact will be limited to her first 2 spells, which are okay, but it's honestly not that great. So if we were going to relegate 1 support to go defend waves, it would be Crystal Maiden. Not to mention, she can also do a bit of jungling if left alone with Frostbite. And if she gets to BKB, which I think would be a really strong item, she will then be able to ult. So we're letting her defend. She's still useful that way, but she's also getting the gold she needs. It like fits a lot of things we're looking for. Now Lich, why can't he defend? He could. His wave clear is okay with like Frost Shield, but his abilities are better for joining up with like Abaddon and Necrophos for kills, because this is a hard stun. Well, fear technically, but it's a hard lockdown ability, whereas Crystal Maidens is just a root. They can still do things in the root. This shield allows people to dive a little bit further, which is kind of what we need this game because Necrophos and Abaddon just walk at people. So the Frost Shield really helps with that. And then the ultimate, while it can be Spike Carapist, will still bounce around and will still contribute a lot. So Lich ends up being more impactful with his team. He also bought Arcane Boots, so he wants to be near teammates for that benefit. Whereas the Maiden has Tranquils and then this global aura. So Lich will be, even if they were switched, by the way, let me say that. Even if it was Crystal Maiden 5 and Lich 4, I would still tell you, Crystal Maiden should be down here defending this tower, or left in the mid defending this tower. Or if like Juggernaut's here and her whole team sitting mid and someone needs to come top, then Crystal Maiden would be the ideal hero to come up here. Now, if you're the Lich and Crystal Maiden's not moving, then you're going to go, but like that's the suboptimal situation. And actually, that's kind of it for the Radiant side, is what I would say. You do need sentries, not only to protect the Jug, but like whichever tower or area you go to control, if you're the, not the defending support, but the one either split pushing a bit or playing with your team, you need sentries to spot the Nyx, you need dust. But yeah, that's pretty much what you're going to do. You're just going to try to control this area a bit for a few minutes, start to build up that advantage, and then you can look for fights. And you can still look for fights like before that, like especially with the Necrophos ult and stuff like that. But you're not looking to like force the mid tower in a 5-on-5 because it's not going to work out. You don't have enough of a lead. Now let's think about the dire supports a bit here. Who should be defending this mid tower or any tower? This one's a little more obvious. It's the Jakiro. We already kind of hinted at this earlier, but he's got the wave clear. Actually, that's kind of it, guys. He has the wave clear. Nyx doesn't really have this option. But if you think about, can Jakiro make aggressive plays? Yeah, but Nyx is better. Because of Nyx's Invis ultimate, and because of the multiple stuns, he can stun people from Invis with Carapace, hit them with a Vendetta, then hit them with the Impale. In that time, Lina with like Boots of Travel, or like they smoke up, or like an Earthshaker with a Blink Dagger to jump in. He just combos better than a Jakiro trying to like stun someone. Now, in this case, he dies, so it looks a little silly, but he's still doing what he's supposed to do. He's trying to find the enemy team, trying to find these opportunities. We could nitpick, like, whether it's the best place, but, like, that's not really the point. Based on, like, how the map looks from your game, like, the vision, that'll always be different. You just need to be, like, looking for people with Nyx and try to, like, set that up with the appropriate teammates. Now, who should defend mid between Lina and Jakiro and, like, other wave clears? If you can have a support defend mid or bottom or like whatever lane the enemy's trying to push, that often is better because you don't really care if the support gets killed on their own, but it also means the core is not showing on the map. So like Lina going for Boots of Travel into Shadowblade, a very scary gank threat. But if you always see her sitting in the mid lane trying to defend the tower, you're not scared. Like if you're this Juggernaut, you see Lina mid, you see Earthshaker bottom, but you don't see Nyx, actually, I'm not that scared, because Nyx can't kill me by himself. And Nyx with Jakiro also probably is not going to kill me in time. But if you have Jakiro in the mid lane, Earthshaker bottom, Lina's missing, Nyx is missing, suddenly, I don't know. I'm so scared, because one stun, I am dead, I will die, and that is a lot worse. Lina could actually just be jungling the whole time. She could be jungling, farming faster than just being in the lane. Overall good for her, but she's also applying map pressure by not showing. Jakiro does not apply map pressure that same way. So, ideal case, a support would be here defending this mid lane in this case, but for example, say they were all trying to 5-man bottom, then Jakiro would be here. Wherever it is, Jakiro would be the one who wants to defend. And if Lina, or whatever your core is, insists on being there, insists on defending, then in that case, you're going to walk away to wherever it needs to go. So in this game, the top half of the map was ignored by both teams for quite a lot. And so if you were a support, noticing all your cores keep trying to sit mid, you would walk to the top and start doing the core's job of like shoving out the lanes. And the reason I'm saying and emphasizing that you walk there is so that you can TP to whatever area it is the core insists on staying, so you can participate in team fights, because ultimately if the core does get a kill and is farming that lane, it's like not too bad for your team, but for the reasons we explained, not perfect. But it's a pub game. We can't expect perfection, so we're just gonna make do. I think that's all I want to say actually for this video, guys. So I think we will end there. It is not meant to like cover the whole game. Let me know what you think, because this is an idea I had, but I don't know how to flesh it out, because every single game, unique heroes, unique situations. So I don't know how to like pitch you a perfect plan or like a perfect thought process guideline, because it's like it changes every game. So I thought these kind of like breakdowns would be good instead, and we just like do a bunch of these, and hopefully that builds up like experience to be able to do this yourself without any guidance. So let me know if you have a better idea for the format. I'm happy to try changing around. You'll notice this is like the 4th time we've seen this kind of fight going on in the mid lane, and it actually favors the Dire. I don't think I said that, so let me throw that out. The Dire were behind, and I would say they scale a little bit better into the late game, so the Dire is happy to just drag the game out. So when everyone's sitting mid, the Dire is actually okay with that. They're like, okay, yeah, let's just keep baiting them to sit mid. It's the Radiant that's a little bit more on a timer, in my perspective, that they want to like start taking control, and that's why they have to invade, they have to hold, things like that. Okay, yeah, now that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Give me your feedback, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!